gehen noch direkt ins nächste rein. The most intense arguments in Joe Rogan history. Ja, SunnyV2 auch immer mit sehr, sehr guten Videos. Wenn ihr den noch nicht kennt, könnt ihr gerne mal vorbeischauen.
Episodes of the Joe Rogan experience. It's no surprise that there have been a couple of pretty heated arguments. And we're going to kick the video off by looking at one between Joe and a guest by the name of Candace Owens, who initiated the conflict after stating in a very smug way that humans don't need to care for the environment because climate change doesn't exist.
You don't think we have to care about the environment? Like,
not even a little bit. Like,
not even a little bit?
No. Okay, let me clarify this. I don't throw trash on the ground. Like, okay. I'm not saying like we need to like, you know, trash the environment. Like, but do I believe in climate change? No.
Joe pushed back on this initial statement by arguing that the topic was incredibly complex and that maybe Candace wasn't in a position to make this claim. Things became even worse when Jamie brought up a website to support Joe's side of the argument.
The vast majority, 87% of scientists, said that human activity is driving global warming.
Yeah, I don't believe this like at all, just so you know.
Which resulted in Candace implying that they were specifically searching for data to support what Joe already believed.
I guess look up the opposite, right? Instead of looking for what you're searching for, looking for what you're not looking for.
I didn't search for it. That's what I found when I searched it.
Joe then.
Oh, Bruder, eine von diesen komischen Corona-Leugnern und sowas. Dafür gibt's Evidence. Aber guck doch einfach mal das andere nach. Oder das ist das Internet. Du wirst alles finden, wenn du willst. Aber wenn da steht, dass 87% aller Wissenschaftler das sagen und du schon eine Studie rausholst und sie dann immer noch sagt, das ist nicht so, und dann brauchst du mit so Leuten auch einfach gar nicht diskutieren. Weil was die glauben, ist nur deren eigene Scheiß und was sie selber hervorgeholt haben. Und was deren komische Meinung darunter steht.
Down on just how detrimental the climate situation could be.
This could negatively impact all sorts of coastal cities. This could be a gigantic problem. This is not like propaganda that's drummed up by some sort of big business that seeks to make money off of this.
Yet Candace showed no interest in changing her belief on the topic, escalating the conflict even further.
I don't believe it's real, okay? So I can't sit here.
But here's the question. But why have a belief? Why have a belief as to whether or not global warming is real or not real?
Because I just find that when things,
you don't understand the science.
You are correct.
But why have a belief in it?
Right. So it's not a belief. It's not a belief in it. I don't believe in it.
Joe was eventually able to get Candace to
Ey, ich glaub doch gar nicht dran. Das ist ja schon wieder so dumm, Junge.
Admit that she didn't really know what she was talking about.
How about not have a belief until you really have looked at the data?
Okay, so you would prefer if my language.
Also im Endeffekt, Joe Rogan sagt gerade, warum hast du überhaupt darüber eine Meinung, wenn du dir noch nicht mal eine Meinung darüber gebildet hast oder gar nicht bilden kannst oder gar nicht bilden möchtest? Warum hast du dann überhaupt darüber eine Meinung?
As opposed to admitting that I do not know this, I wouldn't die until I've never made a video, I've never made a public statement. You would have preferred if I had just started by saying, I have no opinion.
No, I don't know.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. You say
but I said I didn't know.
No, you say I don't believe in it.
Yeah.
I don't believe in it. You're saying really clearly that you don't think it's real.
However, Eddie Bravo was significantly more stubborn, who found himself in an argument with Joe after refusing to
hat auch immer die schlimmsten Takes.
let go of the idea.
Der Typ hat einfach zu viel Drogen bei sich zu Hause und zu viel Zeit mit sich selber.
That the Earth was flat.
Show me a real picture. Show me a real picture.
Listen, NASA does not have one of those satellites.
Fake.
Why does it look fake?
It looks like something you'd see in a movie.
Fake. Fake.
That's because when they do it in a movie, they try to make it look like this, which is what looks real. Why would it be fake?
It's propaganda, man.
After Eddie kicked off the argument by claiming that every round picture of the Earth is fake, Joe continued the conversation by requesting to see a legitimate photo of a flat Earth.
Is there a photo of this flat Earth?
No, I don't. Like I just said again.
That's what I asked.
There's no photo of the flat Earth from space. There's no photo of the round Earth from space.
That's not true. That's not true.
It's all fake.
Why do you say they're fake, though?
They look fake. They look CGI.
But you're not an expert in imagery.
After being backed into a
Er ist auch kein Expert in CGI.
corner, Eddie made the argument that the sources Joe was using were being paid for to keep the conspiracy going.
Where did you get this information?
Jamie.
Die Leute, das war alles auch noch vor Corona, ne? Die Leute, die das geglaubt haben, das sind später die Corona-Leugner geworden.
Where'd you get it?
Where'd I get what?
This information. Where is this coming from?
This is coming off the internet.
Exactly. So you're reading some information. I'm reading some information off the internet. You didn't go to the library.
Slow down.
It's on Wikipedia.
Just slow down.
Eddie, stop doing
There's sources
that.
here.
Ist auch immer das Ding, man will dagegen was sagen. Die Leute regen sich immer mehr auf, weil die sich angegriffen fühlen, obwohl du einfach nur was zu deren Meinung sagst. Das ist ganz, ganz schlimm. Meine ganzen Leute auf YouTube, ne, wenn ihr vorbeischaut, wenn ihr nicht an Corona glaubt, dann seid ihr dumm wie Stroh und seid ihr auf diesen Channel falsch. Peace out.
There's a book called the American Journal of Science. I'm sure that a lot of people respect
which is bought and paid for.
Well, maybe.
Why would anybody be paying money for people to lie about the world spinning?
Which was followed by Eddie stating that there was no evidence to confirm that the Earth was in fact spinning.
Eddie, people have known it's spinning forever. That's how the seasons
Gravity,
work.
baby.
That's how you see the sun. We spin around. That's why it makes
explain this
eclipses.
to me.
That's why you can
age,
track
too.
time zones. That's why you can put a piece of stick in the ground.
You're saying all the correct shit.
It acts as a sundial.
After over 40 minutes of back and forth between the two, Joe completely lost it.
Eddie.
I used to say the same
Eddie,
stuff.
you're talking about the
I
Earth being
said this-
flat.
I'm
Thousands of
saying the
scientists
same
have
thing.
looked into it. You think they're all wrong? That's so insane.
You haven't looked into it.
I have.
No, you haven't.
Oh my God. How
Wie er sie auch hinsetzen. Nee, du hast das nicht angeguckt, Digga. Du hast nicht das gesehen, was ich gesehen habe.
could I not have? You don't think I have? Eddie, there's websites dedicated to debunking it. There's so many people working on these things, Eddie. The idea that they're all in on some sort of a giant global lie is insane.
However, while this argument could certainly be dismissed as a bit of banter between two friends, the same can't be said for the argument between Joe and Matt Walsh, who began the heated exchange after claiming that gay marriage shouldn't be allowed, as it threatens the institution of traditional marriage.
Du
But then why are
Scheiße.
you opposed to two gay people doing that?
It's not about choice. It's about what this institution, marriage is an institution, and what is it, and what purpose does it serve?
Joe then made the point that a gay marriage doesn't damage a straight marriage in any way.
Vor allem in einem Land, wo du einfach nach Las Vegas fahren kannst und innerhalb von ein paar Stunden verheiratet bist.
I don't think gay people and gay people getting married in any way, shape, or form changes a bond that you have with your wife.
To which Matt responded with the following point.
If marriage is not what I'm saying it is, why do we even need it? A thing that actually exists, which are man, woman couples creating babies.
But after Matt stated that the point of a marriage was for a man and a woman to make babies, Joe questioned the following.
If marriage is only for procreation and to bond a family together, what about people that are deeply in love that never want to have children?
I don't think it's not only procreation.
Right, but if people want to be married and don't want to ever have children, are you opposed to them being married?
I think this will be a couple that is rejecting one of the fundamental aspects of marriage. They should be open to life. I would hope that in the future they would be.
It seemed as though Joe and Matt
Ja, oder sagt er, dass Leute, die keine Kinder haben wollen, sich das noch mal überlegen sollen.
could have argued back and forth for hours on end. But what happens when Joe invites one of his haters onto the podcast? This is what happened with Brian Dunning, who had written an article claiming that Joe was one of 10 celebrities who promote harmful pseudoscience, in which he'd write, "Comedian Joe Rogan does what he can to promote virtually any conspiracy theory that he stumbles onto, apparently
Wir haben genau gerade das Gegenbeispiel gesehen.
accepting them all uncritically with a wholesome embrace. He believes the Apollo astronauts did not land on the moon. He believes the US government was behind the 9/11 terrorist attacks. He believes the Oliver Stone version of the Kennedy assassination. He believes that aliens crashed at Roswell in 1947 and the government is covering it up. Joe, if you're gonna put so much effort into promoting conspiracy theories and eroding what little rationality the public has left, at least have the courage to come forward with a cogent argument and well-sourced evidence instead of the lameness of I'm just the guy asking questions. Take the responsibility. Joe would take this responsibility.
Irgendwo kann ich da ein bisschen zustimmen, weil ab und zu hat Joe Rogan schon sehr, sehr wilde Takes. Aber im Grundsätzlichen ist er ja schon ziemlich base und hinterfragt auch viele Sachen so, ne? Klar, bei manchen Sachen bin ich auch so, Bruder, warum? Da hast du da einfach mit den falschen Kollegen gesprochen oder so, aber irgendwo muss man sagen, klar, das ist halt eine Plattform, wo Millionen Leute auftauchen, aber es ist halt immer noch so ein Podcast, wo einfach mit ein paar Leuten quatscht, weiß ich meine. Man sollte sich sowieso niemals irgendwie die Meinung von diesem Joe Rogan Podcast einfach annehmen. Man sollte alles selber nochmal hinterfragen.
By inviting Dunning onto the podcast, which resulted in a 3-hour back and
Ich glaube, das habe ich gesehen.
forth arguing about everything, beginning with conspiracy theories.
Well, it's just factually inaccurate on so many different levels. I don't understand why you wrote it like that. Like, there's things that you said that I believe that I don't, that I've never said that I do.
Before eventually concluding with diet and alcohol.
It's not correct. That's not the way the body works. That's not the way the digestion system works. When you say that there's a supplement that can prevent you from getting drunk, you're I'm sorry. You're against all reasonably established science, and you're trying to make a buck off of people potentially getting killed. And I had a huge problem with that to the point that I had to turn the show off.
However, if we're on the topic of diet and alcohol, then we have to look at the Joe Rogan Experience number 1267, which became one of Joe's most heated episodes after two opposing diet specialists began to argue about nutrition.
To this
Oh, wait,
energy.
can I
No,
comment on
Gary,
that
you talked
study?
for a long time, and I'm going to talk for as long as I want now.
Throughout the whole episode, the two guests were continually mocking each other in a very subtle way.
How does the brain regulate that?
I didn't say it regulated that.
Hold on, Gary, hold on.
That's fascinating. But how does the brain do that?
Which accompanied other segments where the guests made it very obvious that they hated each other.
Data are very clear on that, Gary. So
no.
Yes, they are. Look, we have data.
We can't say things like that, Stefan, because we're going to disagree on what the data say.
Let's move on. You think they ate mostly fish? That's incorrect. Okay, according to the data. I remember you saying that in your book, something to that effect.
Stefan, read what you've got in my book. Read what I say.
Anyway,
just read what I say.
Let's go on.
We don't have to argue about it. Read what I say.
I'm going to move on here.
The adversity between the two guests became so great that Joe had to intervene on more than one occasion.
Gary, I really continue to get the feeling that you do not understand human energetics. Because that's not how it works.
Well, no, I'm just saying 10 calories stored in the fat tissue. That's
10
just
calories,
mathematics.
10 calories.
I didn't say anything about
Gary,
how much you have to eat.
I'm not done.
Okay, no, but you're insulting me,
Gary,
Stefan. You got to stop doing that, dude.
Gary.
You keep acting like you think I'm an idiot.
All right, are you done now?
Das ist ja komplett unangenehm.
Are you done?
Can we be clear that we're talking about...
Are you done now?
Can I just finish this?
No, you can't until I am done.
Me without, no,
Gary, you have time to respond.
You can respond, write down notes on what you want to respond to, and after he's done, you can talk about
but we're going to get into a long discourse on something that's not the point.
Well, let's find out if it is the point. We don't know what he's going to say.
Thank you. Okay.
But despite this, the two diet experts failed to agree on almost anything.
What do you disagree with?
Well, virtually everything.
As we've seen so far, Joe Rogan is pretty good at keeping his cool whenever things get spicy. However, in a recent episode with Dave Portnoy, Joe struggled to keep his cool after Dave stated that Tommy Fury wasn't a real boxer.
I saw Tommy Fury box. He is not a boxer.
Yeah. Well, he's definitely a boxer.
Well, he puts on gloves.
He's definitely a boxer.
Dave went on to make the point that Tommy was only famous due to his brother's name.
We would not know who Tommy Fury was if his last name wasn't Fury.
Probably we wouldn't know as much about him.
I don't.
But he's still a good-looking guy. He's built great. He looks
looks
the part.
Looks the part.
And while the conversation was somewhat amicable in the beginning, the tension escalated after Jamie pulled up a video of Tommy Fury's boxing.
Look at this. Look at this. He's fighting a professional boxer. The guy's fighting looks good. Dude, you're crazy if you don't think Tommy Fury's a boxer. Look at that uppercut. Watch this.
Find the Tommy Fury. Find the Tommy Fury fight. Can you find me the record of Volkanovski?
This. Stop. Watch this. Watch this.
Ja, ohne Scheiß, was willst du denn sonst da gucken? Klar gibt es ein paar Momente, wo er scheiße aussieht, gibt es im Basketball auch, aber sagst du deswegen, der Typ kann kein Basketball spielen?
You're out of your mind if you don't. Look at this.
What
look at that right hand.
That was in slow motion,
No, it's not in slow motion.
I think you slow...
Oh, Bruder, der Typ ist komplett hängen geblieben. Alter, das ist so einer, der neben dem Ring steht und sagt, boxt euch doch mal, haut euch doch mal ins Gesicht, Digga. Aber das... Wahrscheinlich sind die schon in der 4., 5. Runde komplett am Ende. Ist normal, dass die Punches dann nicht alles Mike Tyson-Shots sind.
No, he is 100% a legitimate professional boxer. If you don't think so, you're just being a hater.
The argument between Joe and Dave felt like it was coming from a fun perspective. However, Joe Rogan's argument with Adam Conover was significantly less friendly, which began when Adam stated that he saw nothing wrong with transgender athletes.
Sports with trans athletes who are, competing with with their gender, right? That is a sporting world that I'm more interested in.
Joe responded to Adam's position by making the point that it's unfair for a biological man to compete against women.
If you're a woman and you're a natural woman and you don't take any extra hormones or male hormones, you're not taking steroids or any sort of performance-enhancing drugs, you're doing your very best to compete and you're at the top of the heap. But then someone comes along that was a man for 30 years and decides that they're going to be a woman, and this has happened, and literally transitioned a few months ago, and competes as a woman and destroys records and dominates you in that sport. Das
hört man auch immer öfter, ne, dass irgendwo transsexuelle Menschen, also es ist meistens dann von Mann zu Frau gehen und dann in irgendeinen Sport mitmachen und alle Rekorde brechen innerhalb von Tagen.
It's not competing on a level playing field. It's not fair. It's
einfach unfair,
as much cheating as taking steroids when the other person doesn't.
I disagree, and
what do you disagree about?
I've already
Ist immer so rein theoretisch, ne? Das ist so, als wenn die Frau, die vorher Mann war, die ganze Zeit Steroide durchnehmen konnte. Und es ist auch klar, dass die Frau, die dann nicht Steroide nimmt, da gar nicht mithalten kann. Die muss da ja 30 Jahre im Endeffekt Steroid-Zusichtnahme replikieren.
I don't think that there is such a thing as a perfectly level playing field. I think we decide what kind of playing field we want to have.
Sure, but we do make the distinction where we don't allow men to compete in women's divisions.
And I think that distinction may be breaking down a bit, right? And I think it may be time to break down that distinction.
Der denkt halt wirklich, ne, dass es irgendwann einen Sport gibt, wo Mann und Frau zusammen machen. Kann es vielleicht auch geben, aber dafür muss es halt auch die richtige Sportart geben. Wenn du sowas hast, was körperlich betont ist oder athletisch betont ist, wie Basketball oder Football, da wird es niemals sein, dass auf einmal eine Frau auftaucht. Niemals. Und vor allem dann halt auch, sagen wir mal, ich wollte gerade Michael Jordan-Status bekommen, aber irgendeinen guten Spieler, Digga, sagen wir einfach mal, Nikola Vucevic-Status bekommen. Niemals, Digga. Weil die halt einfach im Nachteil sind. Ist ja gar nicht.
So you think that males should be able to compete in the women's division of weightlifting?
No, I don't necessarily.
But they can if they transition.
Well, first of all,
the debate became even more heated after the two got onto the topic of transgender children.
If you're shooting hormones into a child and you're affecting the child's development, you're saying that's not a choice. That's nonsense. Of course it's a choice. You're choosing to chemically change this child's body.
Which then turned into a weird debate about the existence of alpha males.
It's not scientific, but it is true that women are hardwired to be attracted to confident, athletic men.
I don't know if I agree with that. But
really?
Yeah.
But if you ask girls, like, what are you into? And you say, are you into tall, muscular, confident men who are also nice to you? Jesus Christ, it's going to be off the charts. It's going to be like most of them.
I'm really not sure that's the case.
Really?
However, at least Joe was sober for the Adam Conover debate, as alcohol was one of the main drivers for Joe's heated 2017 argument with Steven Crowder, which began with Steven stating that the legalization of weed has led to an increase in motor vehicle accidents.
Traffic fatalities regarding marijuana have skyrocketed.
Google that, because that's nonsense.
No,
you know,
drunk
driving arrests have dropped. What do you mean first of all?
Yeah, we wrote about what the sources are, the original studies.
Steven then tried to convince Joe that he didn't really care about the use of weed.
I don't care about it.
Yeah, you do.
I don't care.
You're the guy that thinks people should be able to do whatever. You're a free market guy,
that's
right?
What I just said.
So if you're a free market guy, why wouldn't you be in support of something, whether it's the most beneficial or equally beneficial? But you're not necessarily, because you're denying.
But because right now of the chemical,
which is followed by Joe mocking Steven for his attitude.
Things that are good and don't shore, man. Just like you don't shore turmeric, you don't shore ginger, you don't shore a reduced sugar diet. All those things that reduce inflammation are good for you.
I don't buy that smoking marijuana would be as beneficial as a reduced sugar diet.
After bringing up a study to support Joe's point, the following exchange ensued.
Since marijuana legalization, highway fatalities in Colorado are at near historic lows.
You haven't bring up the source that you want to find.
Washington
Bring
Post.
up the study right there. Yeah, Washington Post. Bring up the study that we wrote. We wrote about it on our website.
Look, I don't care about your website. Since marijuana...
Oder er holt irgendeine Zeitung raus, sagt, guck mal, hier der Fakt. Dann sagt er, nee, warte mal. Mach mal meine Seite auf. Wir haben einen besseren Fakt, Digga.
Legalization, highway fatalities in Colorado
Since you called me Since you called me
And after Joe sobered up the following day, he issued an apology for the way he acted during one of the most heated arguments in Joe Rogan history.
Ja, aber halt auf der anderen Seite, ich verstehe das nicht, dass man nicht ein bisschen einsichtig ist. Ne? Den Leuten geht es halt wirklich nicht mehr darum, welche Meinung irgendwie stattfindet, sondern es geht darum, deren eigene Meinung zu vertreten. Und wenn du irgendwas gegen diese Meinung sagst, dann bist du deren Feind. Direkt.